Oh, hi, Mark. Okay, well, I just watched a little movie called The Beach House. I'm going to try to keep this short and simple. The Beach House is a Lovecraftian horror film, a cosmic horror film, and it is directed and written by Jeffrey A. Brown, a son of a bitch who will be responsible for about 90% of my nightmares. I'm kidding. I don't really get movie related nightmares, though if I did, this movie would be in the top contenders. So this movie follows a couple that go to a beach house for a weekend, and they think they're alone in the beach house, and turns out they're not. Two of this male protagonist's father's business associates are living in the beach house of, with his father's permission. And one night, well, the first night, the only night, they decide that they're going to get completely schlocked, completely schmammered, and they take some edibles and they drink a lot. And they begin noticing that outside something strange is going on with the air. Everything seems to be a strange color, kind of a violet or a magenta, almost like the color out of space. It seems to be on the plants and on the trees. And no one quite knows what it is. And we have Jane, who is the female business associate of our main character's father, who goes out to check out all of the interesting, colorful things out there, of course being stoned out of her mind. And the next morning is where the horror starts. I really enjoyed this movie. It is very much so a cosmic horror, so not a lot is explained. It just kind of expects you to understand that not everything is going to make 100% sense. What I got from this movie, as far as what do I think happened, I think the pods that washed up onto the beach, because there are pods that wash up onto the beach, which you probably know if you're watching this video, as I will label this spoilers. And I think that those things release some form of the fog that's there. I think those things are responsible for the fog. I also think they're responsible for the color everywhere. I think the color is some form of maybe like a pollen or something that the sacs release, and then the pollen turns, well, I use pollen for lack of a better term, turns into like a fog, a mist. And of course that infects people and infests them with the basically the offspring of these pod things, these disgusting pod things. So what do I like about this movie? All the performances were pretty good. You know, it's always a plus when you have people in the film that you don't absolutely hate and that you don't hate watching on screen because they're so bad at what they're doing. So I commend all the actors. They all did a fine job. One of the actors looked very familiar, and I think I knew him from the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. Pretty sure. That's mainly what I know him from. I forgot that guy's name in the movie. Hell, I forgot his name in real life too. But on top of the acting, the creatures These creatures were terrifying. And that's really what sold this movie to me. I love cosmic horror anyway. I really enjoy when movies, basically, all cosmic horror is when a movie or a story takes the fear of the unknown to the next level. And this movie does that. You don't know what these things are. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what the fog outside is. You don't know why everything's fucking purple. You just don't know. And that's phenomenal, in my opinion. I love not knowing. I love not knowing what the color is in Color Out of Space. I love not fully comprehending In the Mouth of Madness. Though that movie's more straightforward than most cosmic horror films. But I love that fear of the unknown. And it happens quite frequently here because we don't really know anything about this stuff. And on top of that, this movie actually, on top of the fear of the unknown, which of course I think a lot of horror movies play into, but this being cosmic horror takes it to the next level as far as just we don't know anything. One of my deepest fears is played into in this movie. You guys don't understand. When I say this is like one of my deepest fears, I mean I get paranoid at the thought of this stuff. Like I like randomly started itching during this movie. It didn't make any sense, but I just started itching. And that fear is parasites. I don't know why. They fucking freak me out. I hate them so much. Anything having to do with parasites. Even if it's not even technically a parasite or exactly a parasite. If it kind of resembles a parasite, fuck that. And in this film, they're definitely parasites. I mean, the offspring of these ink sac things that wash up on the beach are parasites. This one chick pulls a worm out of her ankle. Oh my god. When that scene, when I tell you I was sitting there, I had my blanket like up by my fucking face. I was using it as a whoopee. Whoopee, that's a term, right? Like Linus from from Charlie Brown. I can't with things like that, and she just pulls it out of her ankle. Ha, ha, and it's just flopping around on the floor, and it has like a weird clear membrane around one end of it. Jesus, get it away. Get it away. I swear to God, I was just sitting there thinking the entire time, if that was me, I'd have been chopped my foot off. I do not play with this shit. Yeah, so this movie was incredibly unsettling to me. It's just one of those things that makes me cringe, and it gets under my skin. Metaphorically speaking, of course. God willing, it never actually gets under my skin. But yeah, like my fear for this sort of thing is so ridiculous that like even in The Ruins, the film about the killer vines, basically, when you see like the vine moving under their skin, that wigged me out to a huge degree, and I knew it was a plant. Didn't matter. It was a plant. It was living inside someone. The plant was sentient. It was in them. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that it was just a vine. Disgusting. Anyway. So it's safe to say this movie played on my fears. I can't stand shit like that, but It was executed well in this movie. It freaked me out. It should. I absolutely love. I love when movies have like just kind of. Okay, guys, my phone's dying, so I'm gonna have to make this actually shorter than I thought I was gonna have to make it, because I'm not gonna be able to hold my arm like this up for long. All right. Also, not sure how I managed to make it upside down. That was odd. But as I was saying, I really like when movies incorporate like these weird ethereal colors or ethereal colors um, in into them. The only complaint I honestly have with this movie is it was a little slow to start. It was. I found myself, checking my phone a couple of times before this movie really got going. But once it gets going and it's crazy. So, anyway, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Sorry about that weird upside down portion. Sorry I had to be so short, but I'm literally plugged into the wall right now. Also, sorry for all the shaking. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Would you think that I knew how to speak? You'd be wrong.